everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, I'm gonna keep working on my teaser trailer. But in that same vein, I've also been working on a mini animation. It's a bit more action packed, and it's likely gonna be an exercise. I'm not gonna try to fully detail it. It's more so to work on my principles in animation. The stream is a little bit late today, so I apologize for that. But for the most part, it should just be business as usual. I'm just finishing up on this hair ribbon right here and filling in the other areas and locations around his body. So, how is everyone doing? Things are going all right. Payday is today, so that's always a good thing. And I also got an email from Nelnet, which is my student loan provider. And like holds are still in effect, so that's good. I'm just afraid of like things are going all right. Like I can't really complain about anything right now. I'm still worried and concerned, but honestly, that's just life. Life is just full of worry and concern for things. Just gonna zoom in and try and fill this little area right here. Okay, that's good. I just need to get these other frames. I mean, long hair is quite the hairstyle I chose. I mean, I guess I more so chose it for like the connotations that comes with long hair, which is freedom and liberation, and which is also kind of ironic and funny because this is not a free character. This is not a liberated character because he's still going through the trauma, the shortcomings, and the circumstances of his past, which is going to be quite interesting to explore in the series. I'm just cleaning up some lines over here, making sure it looks nice and pretty. As you can see, animation is a long and time consuming process. But honestly, it's something that I really love and I can just get lost into. Like, honestly, if I wasn't in retail, I'd probably be animating for hours on end, likely even the entire day. I mean, heck, they wouldn't even have to pay me overtime for it. Sometimes, even if it is going to be obscured, it's still good to fill it out and draw it, just so you have that underlying understanding of the principle. So then you can carry it over to your next project. Carry over the skills, what you learned, different things like that to the next project. Now I just need to find this. Yep. Let's select this. Okay, that's done. Let's see here. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can just convert that into a blank frame. Because technically, where the hair tie is meant to be is obscured. Now, I wonder if I can. But then when it comes to this, yeah, that's the major issue. It's good right here, but once I get to the later frames, I'm gonna have to. Dang. Okay, easy fix. I know what I need to do. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. I believe it is. Yes, after this frame, I'm gonna have to shift the hair tie from being on this set of frames up here to a new frame that is gonna be above it. So let me just erase this. And I do want to insert a blank keyframe right here, just so when I move these frames, it doesn't mess up anything. So I believe it was right here. No, these up here. And guys, that is how you animate. That is how you problem solve as an animator. Quite nice. Quite nice indeed. And that was a celebratory sip of coffee. And honestly, animation is full of different things like that. It's full of problem solving and seeing issues and trying to figure out ways to work around it or make it work in your favor. And one of the sad things, but also one of the most humbling things, is while we try to avoid inconsistencies, they still happen. Even some of the greatest animations still have slight errors or consistencies here and there. Like, I think somewhere in Arcane, there's a character that clips through a background, or like there's a slight color inconsistency in like locations of where items were. Sometimes they clip back and jump back. But honestly, that's non animation. Things just get overlooked sometimes. Pretty good. So all of the frames are finished. I just need to animate the eyes. Then I also need to work on this last frame right here with all of the chairs. So many freaking chairs. Where they all zoom out and then zoom back in. No, this is gonna be a nightmare, but hopefully after I get to like the top down, I can probably just turn that into a tween. You see, why didn't I just turn it into a tween when I got this far? Why didn't I? You see, sometimes I'll be thinking, but other times I don't be thinking. But then if I turn this into a tween, then it's gonna be harder, or it's gonna take even longer to actually animate the little magical gloss effect. So perhaps it was a good idea that I didn't. So let's see here. Okay, let me take a breather before I start on this part, because this is the part that's gonna irk me. I shouldn't talk like that. Like, this is something I love, but there are moments in animation where you're like, why can't this just be done? Why can't I just finish this part? So it's a balancing act of, yay, I'm doing what I love, and shit, like, here comes the next part of the animation. But it's alright, it's all good. That's just how animation is. Like, you gotta, it takes time and it takes effort. Sometimes you just gotta sit with it for a minute and just grit your teeth and get used to it. But, like, it's not that bad. Oh yeah, I've also been putting in some work with my sketchbook too. Like whenever I have time at work, I like to draw in my sketchbook. And so I've also been one of the key things that I've really been brainstorming and trying to workshop and work out is how different plants and animals use magic. So I will say that for humans at least, because we have creative minds, in this world, in this show, which is 13, humans are creative. Humans are sapient beings. They can form conscious thoughts and they can problem solve and be creative with their problem solving. So that's one of the hallmark reasons as to why humans can cast spells. And so magic is separated into two different states or applications, which is passive magic and active magic. Active magic is any sort of spellcraft competent competent application of magic to complete certain tasks. Passive magic is more so like your instincts or bodily functions. So in this world, passive magics are extended youth, longer lifespan, slight increases to durability and strength. And this is seen in all life. In all life, biotic and abiotic, moving and non moving. So when animals have magic in their system, magic more so supplements what abilities they already had. So dogs and wolves, they would passively use magic to enhance their sense of smell. Big cats passively use magic to enhance their strength and speed. Deer, bats, all creatures are passively, subconsciously using magic to enhance whatever abilities or attributes they already have. So, creatures like deer and other creatures with antlers, one of the things I decided to add was they actually have these crystalline formations on their horns. So even though the horns are enamel, they're gonna be like magic crystals on them. So like they're gonna be red, blue, pink, different color crystals, and it's gonna glitter in the sunlight. Um, Certain big cats, they actually grow spikes along their backs, and their claws also turn into like this almost crystalline substance. It's more so to show that magic has permeated even these creatures. Plants are a lot bigger. Plants are a lot bigger. They also have different stored magical effects that they can do. Because when I was making it, I'm thinking, because this is my general thought process, is these creatures and these things are not dependent on magic because they existed before magic became activated in the environment. So how would these different things react and use magic now that it's available? And so my whole mentality is magic for animals and plants are is supplemental. They don't need it. They just passively, subconsciously use it to do diff to do different functions better or faster or more efficiently. So that was my whole thought process in designing animals like that. Now, because animals in this world do not have conscious thought, and they cannot cast spells. You may be able to train an animal to cast a certain type of magic, but for the most part, casting spells is not something that animals do. Now, familiars are an entirely different thing. A familiar is usually a animal that has become awakened by a human or somebody with magic. So usually what'll happen is a person will link their magic to the innate magic of another creature, and they will form a sort of bond with that creature. And that creature will become awakened. They'll be able to have complexer thought. They'll some maybe even be able to speak. You'll be able to teach your familiar so that they can learn to do certain things, and eventually down the line, with enough training, you might actually have a familiar that can cast their own spells and use their own magic. But for the most part, animals en masse cannot use active magic. And following the cascade, there have been many different geological and geographical advancements and alterations as well. So we have things like floating islands or and we have floating islands, we have deep caverns, we have areas in the world where they're perpetually molten or perpetually on fire. Floating land masses where cities are being built. We have underwater cities and towns as well. Airships are also a thing, and airships were more so not seen as a big scientific advancement. Again, this is a culture and group of people who have written and seen fantasy novels, fantasy movies, video games. So their mindset is now we have magic, we can make our fantasy dreams a reality. So let's make airships. Not because we need them, but because we saw them in books and they look cool. So again, a lot of technological advancements stem from nerds and geeks and their love for fantasy, really. Like honestly, next to a scientist, geeks are probably geeks and nerds are probably the strongest people in this world because they just loved fantasy. So yeah, that's pretty much how the world works. Like just imagine just imagine like the 80s or 90s perception of a nerd, like these dudes with plaid button up shirts and big plastic glasses, and he's just like rolling up in an airship to school. And he's like, "What's up, losers?" And like he's just saying this to like a group of like jocks or whatever. That'd be pretty freaking funny. I'm not gonna lie. Hmm. Anyway, what was I saying? I probably just made this awkward. I apologize, but like, there's just a lot of world building and stuff I need to think about and process. But it is fun, and eventually I will have people who are going to help me. Like, I have some friends from college I can contact. I also have some online friends I play like D&D and other tabletop role playing games with, so they can help me as well. I'll likely have a writing staff that I can go to and sort of jump ideas off of with them. Because again, a big theme of this world, this isn't 100 or 200 years in the far future. This is tomorrow. So I really want to encompass that sense and feeling of hope for tomorrow. And I guess that sense of and I guess I'm going to have to keep that sense of tomorrow consistent because that is what's so difficult for me is that blending of science and magic of a science fantasy because we have science fiction which is Star Wars and Star Trek and to an extent cyberpunk is sort of a subset of science fiction and I'm not trying to like start a flame war or anything but like cyberpunk has become its own drama of like dark future punk aesthetic, you know, doing gigs and side jobs and hustle culture. So that's its own thing. But what I'm trying to say is like science fiction is its own distinct thing. And then fantasy, high fantasy with like medieval high fantasy with magic and sorcery and witches and wizards and dragons. And then we also have the more grounded modern fantasy, which is shows like The Vampire Diaries. I want to say the what was that Anne Rice TV show that just came out, The Wayward Witches or The Winslow Witches. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, but we also have shows like Charmed that came out, other modern fantasies. The Darkest Instruments, high fantasies like Merlin, Once Upon a Time, Dragon Age, Dota 2 Dragon's Blood. Arcane is more steampunk. So Arcane is a good aesthetic of a science fantasy. The only thing is I'm not trying to go for science fantasy in the vein of Arcane and BioShock. I'm more so going for science fantasy in the sense of a almost a modern science fantasy. Because one of the issues with these shows is magic is restrained to bloodlines or smart, clever people or people who are chosen ones. What I'm going for is worlds and societies where everyone can use magic or everyone has the potential to use magic should they choose to. So this is very much going to be a society, a world where everyone, a world where magic is the norm, not the rule, if that makes sense. And it's been hard, but at the same time, it's also very exciting. Like, I can honestly, genuinely say that I love this. I love working on this and doing this and working to make my dreams a reality. Because nobody has taken a chance on me yet. Like, and that's the thing that I really want to go into and talk about is when I was young, I went to one of those uh I went to one of those daycares, and sometimes they would bring in like speakers, promotional speakers to talk to the kids, and one guy said something that has stuck to me since I was little. And he said to me, to all of us, find something you love, find something you believe in, find a job that you love. And if you're really serious about it, if you really love it and enjoy it, then people are going to see and they are going to support you. They're going to take a chance on you. And that's what I believed in. That's what I loved. And that's what I have fought so hard for. And looking back, he was right all along. I just didn't understand the kind of support I would be getting. Like, I had an amazing teacher in high school. He was in the film, and I sort of studied under him, and I was able to do a few independent projects and independent study underneath him. And I was able to get my ACA, my Adobe Certified Associate, in Premiere Pro and Adobe Animate. Then I got into college and I fought so hard to get my degree in animation. And when I say I worked hard, I worked really hard. Like, I was doing extra projects. I had a whole portfolio website. I was doing independent projects on top of my portfolio work. I kept redoing my portfolio, doing extra work, redoing old projects, doing more work than what I needed to. And I kept getting rejected time after time after time. But somebody did take a chance on me, and I was able to switch my major. And another professor took a chance on me again, and my um, she became sort of my mentor for my final project. So I was, in fact, able to graduate in 4 years, which was something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to graduate in 4 years. I didn't want to become a super senior like many of the animation and art students that were stuck in college. And then even now, I'm applying to jobs, and I'll get a rejection letter here and there. Some people may say like, "Oh, we're not looking for you." But those are but then there are the rare few that do talk to me and do message me back. Like, I think I want to say like 3 jobs have contacted me in the last 3 days, which is honestly amazing, beautiful, and wonderful. And at first, I think I was a bit of a doomer. I think I was kind of that guy that said, "Oh, no one's gonna take a chance on me. Like, I gotta fight for myself, and I gotta do X, Y, Z by myself, because just nobody sees it. Nobody sees my potential." But honestly, that I think people do see my potential. Like, I wouldn't be able to start this channel without anybody seeing my potential. I am steadily and slowly growing as I continue to animate, as I continue to post, and use different tags and thumbnails. So, in the end, he was right. I, and I went through struggle after struggle, and I said, "Oh no, nobody can take a chance on me. Like I'm gonna have to fight sheet steel." And when in reality, I don't. And I regret even thinking that now because you are gonna get support for what you love to do and for truly following your passion. That support and the people who see potential and a vision in you, they're just not gonna come from where you think it's gonna come from. Any hardship you're going through is temporary, and eventually things will get better. There's always gonna be at least some darkness before the dawn, but things will get better. So if you're going through some hardship or trouble, don't give up because I didn't. And there were many times I wanted to give up. If there's something you want to do, some hope you have, something that you really love, leave a comment and I will cheer you on. Because sometimes what I really wanted and what I really hoped for was for somebody to cheer me on. And even though I had my family cheering me on, and of course I appreciated what they said, at the same time I also kind of looked for words of encouragement from other people. And so since I didn't get it, now I want to give it to others. So keep going, keep fighting, keep working towards your hopes and your dreams. Don't let anything or anybody get in your way. These chairs are gonna take so long. Sometimes I just wish I had a second animator, or I wish I could like split myself into two people, and one person can animate all day while I go to work. And honestly, just thinking about that, it also gives me an idea for like some cool spells and some cool characters. Like there's probably different enchantments people can do where they put like a part of themselves into like a pen or something or like a broom and they say, okay, like you're gonna sweep while I go off to work, or you're gonna finish working on this animation while I go to the grocery store or something like that. You know, sometimes I think it's the struggles I go through as well as the struggles I see through the people I interact with and my job that sort of push and drive the different concepts and the different issues that I can put in my show, as well as how magic can be used to either resolve those issues or further expand on them. Like I guess that's sort of the silver lining or like the hope in this long process that I'm doing and working on is like I can draw inspiration from struggle. That's freaking wild to me. That's freaking crazy. I'm drawing inspiration from struggle. But honestly, if you actually think about it, like a lot of our advancement is because of struggle or wanting to make human lives easier. Like, wasn't the flashlight made because it was dangerous, or it was too difficult to have like street lights and open flames and stuff like that? I mean, hey, I'm here for it. I'm making a society, so I might as well be. And like, if I'm being completely honest, I don't even play many video games anymore because I'm more excited about my show. Like, it's not like I've fallen out of love with video games or anything like that. I still love them and I still play them once in a while, but I'm more so excited for my show. Like, I'll try to play Cyberpunk 2077 or I'll try to play Warframe, and I'm like, dang, like, I really want to work on Witcher 13, or dang, I really want to sketch some characters right now. Like, I guess that's just what happens when you, yeah, I guess that's just what happens when you have like a vision or when you have something to aspire to, is you become very motivated and almost gung ho on what you want and what you want to do, which is amazing and also very exciting. Honestly, everyone in the world needs to find something to aspire to or something to hope for. A long term plan. Like, and you can still enjoy TV and you can still enjoy video games, but like, it's sort of something that gets you excited, gets you up in the morning. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play some video games or watch some Netflix to wind down, but like, while I'm winding down, like, I got those thoughts about, hey, let me work on this show. Hey, let me work on this piece of art. Let me start a business. Like, it's one of those beautiful things to hope for and aspire for. Like, to an extent, I would go as far to say it it's what makes life worth living. As crazy as that sounds, as I don't know, manic pixie dream girl it sounds of me. I know that sounds freaking crazy, but having a vision, having hopes, having dreams, it's it's beautiful and it's what keeps you alive and keeps you working and fighting and hoping for tomorrow. I'm getting gushy. I'm getting freaking magical girl. Dang. I should leave. I should go. Besides, I have to get ready. I have to finish doing some stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my progress and hearing me expand more on my world. If you liked, please be sure to if you enjoyed this stream, please be sure yeah. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share even if you want to. I also have a Patreon and a Buy Me a Coffee if you want to support me that way, if you want to give me some backing for future projects as well. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys in my next stream or video. This has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art, and I'll see you corner creeps later. Bye.